In this PCB tutorial, you will learn how to design a voltage regulator circuit using Altium Designer. Welcome back to Electromin. In the previous video, what we did was to create the schematic diagram of our voltage regulator circuit, and in today's video we're going to move forward with the layout. I've already created the PCB project. We're going to import the components in this area, design, import changes from voltage regulator project. We're going to validate them. Some of them are okay, but some not. Fail to add class member. That isn't really important. We're going to execute the changes. And the components will be transferred at the right corner of the board. I'm going to drag them and move them into this blackboard. The board is a little bit too big. We can also edit it, make it a little bit shorter. So I'm going to press 1, go to design, edit board shape, and we are going to edit our, edit board shape. That's the perfect dimension. So I'm going to press 2 to get back to 2D view. And here are the components. So what we need to do first is to arrange them like the schematic diagram. So we're going to start with the header connector, then our diode, then the capacitor, our IC, rest of the capacitors, and the last header. I've moved the components in the right order. Now we have some problems with the component names. We have D11 instead of D1 and U question mark instead of U1. We're going to go back to our schematic. D11 and U question mark, we're going to change the name or the designator D1 and U1. Project, validate PCB project. And we're going to go back to our layout. So here we are going to go to design, import changes, and D11 will be renamed as D1, U question mark as U1. Validate changes, execute changes. Now the component names are in right order. Now we're going to connect the components to each other using routing. A simple way to route the components easier is to avoid this cross connection between the traces. So what I'm going to do is to rotate the components so that I can route net C3 directly to net C3 and ground to ground. Perfect. And I'm going to rotate also this capacitor, ground to ground, VCC to VCC. And also our diode. So perfect. V and F, the board looks like this. And then I'm gonna start the routing by Control W, or you can also go to route, interactive routing. And we're gonna start from here. We are on top layer right now. And VCC. Also we can connect the ground, so the trace would go underneath the diode. Doesn't matter. Ground to ground, VCC to VCC. Ground to ground, VCC again. we can change the width of our VCC trace so that it can carry more current. So here is our VCC trace. What we can do, we can select a trace over here and hit the tab so that all the traces which have VCC, which are VCC, will be selected. We're going to go to panels, properties, and the width is by default 0.254 millimeter, and we can change it to 0.6 or 0.5. And as you can see, we get some errors in this form. So what we can do, we can go to PCB rules, and we're going to hit the width, and the max width is 0.245, but we have changed it, so we have to also change it in here so that we don't get any errors. So the max width is right now 0.5, and in bottom layer, we don't actually use bottom layer, but let's write the maximal width, and I'm gonna hit the OK. And whenever I run a design rule check, let's see, run design rule check. So we have only 2 rule violations, which are silk to silk clearance, which is because of the, let me open them. Yeah, it's because of the overlays or text which are connected too close to each other. I can move this little bit up, and also I think the second one is here. You can move it a little bit, no, little bit here. Perfect. So if we run our design rule again, the violations are gone. Perfect. You can also add some text into your layout by clicking this button over here, place a string, and as you can see, I've written voltage regulator PCB, and I've indicated the pins for my header connectors. This one is going to be ground, so I have a text over here, and this one is our VCC, and by our second header connector to get 5 volts output, here is ground, and this one I can write also 5 volt, and the texts are going to be indicated in my top layer. We don't want to have a text in bottom layer. We can, but it's not gonna help us. We can also edit the board shape a little bit more. I'm gonna press 1, design, edit board shape. This one looks good, and this one, perfect. So we are done with the PCB layout. This is our 2D view. When I switch to 3D view, the circuit looks like this. I can press shift, use right click on my mouse, and I can rotate my printed circuit board. As you can see, we have used through hole components, our header connector, then we have our diode, 2 capacitors over here, our IC, voltage regulator IC, and the header connectors to check the 5 volt output voltage. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, and do not forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. Thanks and have a good day.